Good morning. We're going to make a great breakfast, one of my favorites. It's an egg white frittata. You know, egg whites can be used in a lot of different dishes. They're great for scrambles, they're great for omelets.
But the nice thing about the frittata is that all your cooking effort pays off because this recipe yields 6 to 8 servings and is great as a leftover. Let's walk through all the steps. Use store-bought egg whites. This will save you time and you won't have to waste all the yolks. Pour 16 ounces into a blender. By the way, that's 2 cups. You always want to add the eggs first. Next, we'll add the following flavorings. About 2 tablespoons of a light-colored miso, which adds a body and a salty flavor. 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. Then 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, which gives it a cheesy flavor and gives you B vitamins. 3/4 teaspoon of cornstarch, which helps to firm the frittata. A half a teaspoon of black pepper. A 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, which adds flavor, gives it a nice yolky color, and it's an anti-inflammatory. Along the way, I will give you tips on common methods of preparations and seasoning, which can be applied to anything you are cooking. Then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and blend it.
Okay, let's taste it, see if it needs a little more salt. Oftentimes we hit it right on, but it's always good to taste right before you finish a dish just to make sure the salt level is just right for you.
Be careful not to oversalt, and then set this aside. Now, using a non-stick pan, we will saute the vegetables next. I'm using yellow onions, and we will add them first so that they can start to caramelize and brown a little bit. No oil is needed. Just a little salt will pull the moisture out of the vegetables, and they will cook in their own juices. Make sure it's not more than a medium heat and stir frequently. This is how you saute without using oil or butter. Next are the mushrooms, then the roasted red peppers, which you can get in a bottle. Here are the dried tomatoes, which I pre-soaked to rehydrate, then the zucchini. Now, saute over a medium heat for 5 minutes. After cooking the vegetables for 5 minutes, add a half a cup of scallions, a 1/4 cup of roasted garlic, a teaspoon each of fresh and finely minced oregano, thyme, and sage. We flavor with a lot of fresh herbs in this Ornish way of cooking. They really add tremendous flavor to your food. Now let's prep our baking pan.
You could use a little bit of spray, but I like to show you a technique that I use so you don't have to have spray around.
Just put some oil on a paper towel and spread it around on the inside of the pan. As an option, you can make a crust out of non-fat hash browns. I'm using the Alexia brand, which are available in most supermarkets. Distribute the hash browns about 1/4 inch thick, pressing them into the bottom of the pan. The hash browns are just an option. Now transfer the veggies into your baking pan. Spread them evenly. If you're not using the hash browns, then you simply put them straight in. Now, using the same sauté pan, cook the fresh spinach with a couple of tablespoons of water until it's lightly wilted but still bright green. Next, place the spinach on top of the vegetables in the pan. Then, carefully pour your flavored egg whites into the baking pan, being careful to keep the spinach well distributed over the vegetables for a nice presentation. Bake the frittata for 30 minutes. Test it to see if it's done by shaking the pan in the oven and making sure it doesn't wiggle. If it does, it needs a little more time. Remove from the oven and garnish with chopped chives or parsley. Here's a tip. A great way to mince parsley by hand is to first bunch it up very tightly and then slice it very thinly. If you were to chop the parsley loose, it would take 4 times as long. This goes for cilantro and basil as well. All of your effort really pays off with this dish
Because you might only have 2 or 3 pieces or servings, but you'll have 5 or 6 left, and you can have it next day for lunch. You could even have it for dinner with a light salad. It's very nourishing, very fresh, very energizing. You'll love this frittata.